Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayowealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
Hey, George, we're always thinking about income in retirement. One of the big conversations that you have almost daily with the families that you serve. And we always see that magic number when it comes to income. Some people say you need $1.5 million, $1.7 million, almost $2 million. How do you help families really reach out their own version of a magic number?
None of us are the same. No one that I know is identical in every way to someone else. We all have different wants, needs, and desires when it comes to retirement. And for the talking heads to tell us that you need $1.5 million, $2 million, $5 million, or you can't retire is shocking to me. Because my expenses, my lifestyle is not the same as yours.
Right.
Or as John's over in California. We're different. And you need to have a plan that works with you to go with what your wants and needs are. We always talk about, what does retirement look like? I think you have to visualize retirement to be able to get ready for retirement. And maybe you're somebody that wants to travel the world, do one of those great cruises that goes for 6 months, or travel every country every year. Or maybe you want to just stay home, cut the grass, sit by your pool or your pond, and spend time with your children and grandchildren enjoying life. Neither answer is wrong, and neither answer is right, because each one of us has a separate answer. When they tell us that we have to have that $1, $2, $3, $5 million for retirement, it's funny what they say, but what reality is so much different. Now, I like numbers. Being in this business, we like numbers.
I'd like to hear that.
60% of Americans have saved less than $10,000 for retirement. 60%. 20% of Americans have saved between $10,000 and $100,000 for retirement. 13% between $100,000 and $500,000.
Wow.
4% between $500,000 and $1 million, and only 3% have saved over $1 million or more for retirement. With these numbers and what the talking heads tell us on the news and the books, no one, except for 97% of the population, is never going to retire those 97%.
True.
Think about it.
Yeah.
It's really about what we do, how we live. We talk to customers and we say, for us really to be able to help you efficiently and be able to do some of our magic, so to speak, and I use that air quotations around that, we need about $200,000 of retirement monies, whether it be a 401k, managed funds, CDs, savings, or that dried up money sitting in the bank account doing nothing for you. When we have that, we can start making some things work to get us to where we want to go. Mm-hmm. If you save $10,000, you have worked really hard, because it's a hard thing to save money, folks. We have this thing called life in the way, right?
Yeah.
We go to work every day. We come home. Our husband, our wife needs us. Our kids need us. We take care of the yard. We do the laundry. We go grocery shopping. We worry about how our electric bill is going up every day. Then we go to bed and we do the same thing tomorrow. And we try and squirrel away a couple pennies here and a couple pennies there. I really think it's muscle memory, and we need to get on a plan with people and to get a path going forward. One of the things I'm really proud about we do at Betrayo Wealth is we help you get on that plan. We do a financial analysis report for you because it's important to know where I'm maybe wasting some money and how we can do more efficiently. My goal is to get everybody in that 4%, that 500,000 plus. But we need to start somewhere, right? People have heard me talk about my son Alex and his wife Anna. And my grandson Archer, who is just, oh my Lord have mercy. He is just starting to take some steps. Every time he does, I feel like a little kid. I'm dancing on my toes. But he falls down sometimes. It's those little steps we're going to take to start going forward. We're going to take some risk away from our retirement. When we get to be that certain age, we can't afford so much risk. So we're going to start planning a little bit better and a little bit different. But it's about taking the right steps to get us going forward. And it doesn't happen overnight, folks. But it does happen by you picking up the phone and calling us at 302-330-2166 to come in and let's start that process. I always think it's funny, Mark, how people sit there and say, I've done a terrible job. Mm-hmm. I don't have any money saved for retirement. I'm never going to be retired, George. I have $250,000. Oh, my gosh. I heard them say I need $2 million. What am I going to do? And it's funny that when we look in the mirror, Mark, and I say this all the time, you never see the goodness in you. You see all the warts. You see all the bad things that we are. You never see the things that you've done right. But when you come in the Betrayo Wealth Group and you meet with me and you meet the team here, My job's to point out the good and the bad. You're surprised, and people are surprised when they see, well, I'm not that bad. I did some good things.
Yeah.
But that's what this is about. So give us a call, 302-330-2166, or go to Patria Wealth, Patria Wealth.com, and let's see how we can set you up to get you in the right position.
Wherever you sit on your journey towards retirement, we invite you to call the Portray Wealth Group. It's a no-cost, no-obligation, family-first retirement plan. You're going to personally sit down with George Politarhos. This is who you're going to talk to, George Politarhos. Again, it's no cost, it's no obligation. 302-330-2166. Again, 302-330-2166. We're always available at betraywealth.com. George, you were just mentioning some of the talking heads that we see on TV in the articles. What's your take on like Susie Orman?
She's evolved over the years. She's changed a lot over the years. I know she said years ago that annuities were terrible. Don't do annuities. And now her story is annuities are a great way to guarantee some income, safety, and take the risk out of your retirement.
Yeah.
I agree with her wholeheartedly on that part, but she's really an intelligent woman who a lot of people listen to. And it's like anything, Mark. Not everything everyone says is perfect and right for everyone. You need to sit and listen and pick the pieces that work for you. And then once you pick the pieces that are important to you and that work for you, we start to build that plan around you. When you come in, I don't have a plan that says, well, you're 60 years old. This is the plan for you. Have a great day. Sign here. Because you're not the same as Sue and Bob that come down from the other side. We're going to build a plan that's customized to you.
One of the reasons that we talk about Susie Orman here is she had a quote that I found pretty interesting. I wanted to get your take on it. Again, that number 302-330-2166. We're talking a lot this weekend about building income in retirement, but she started talking about expenses, and she started talking about these are some of the things that could really do damage to your overall plan.
It's not just in retirement that you should cut this expense. I'm just going to really talk about one, but there's one expense that happens over and over and over again, and that expense is eating out. For you to have money, you have to learn to live below your means, but within your needs. You do that by simply purchasing needs versus wants.
All right, Susie, listen, let's take a step back.
Line.
Don't you dare tell me I can't go to the Mexican restaurant and get me a big fat cheese dip and a big beer.
40 years ago, Mark, I don't know about you, but were you eating out 3 nights a week?
No.
My mom was an unbelievable cook. She could make the dog food taste outstanding. But we ate dinner at home every night. You went out, and I'm using air quotations, as a special treat. Today, the trend is that we don't want to do anything. Everything's pre-processed, and we're eating out all the time. We don't realize how expensive things become. And I think it becomes muscle memory. And I love sports. I'm really excited about the Eagles right now, getting ready to play in the NFC Championship tomorrow. They're going to beat the Commanders. I'll make that quote right now. So
Proclamation
don't
right
call
now.
me if they lose and start yelling at me, Mark. I know you will.
302-330-2166.
But when we sit there, they have coaches. The quarterback for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, has a special coach to go over how to do it and muscle memory. We've gotten to the format with our expenses that's muscle memory. We don't have the needs. We have the wants. I want to go out and eat 5 nights a week. I want to buy the newest phone when it comes out from Apple every other month. We have you don't need that stuff. And I think it's important that we start younger and getting our expenses in line, getting rid of our expenses. Because one of the things she didn't say is we can pretty much say we're going to have Social Security be X.
Yeah.
If you have pension, we have pension, it's going to be X. If we have an annuity, we're going to have income from this. Your expenses are what we lose track of. How many people do you know have $10 in the bank and they spend $15? You need to control your expenses. And a great way to start with having a breakdown of your expenses. Mark, tell me something about Gretchen. Do you know how much she spends on groceries, or how much she spends on getting her hair done, or how much she spends on gas, or those little things, the nickels and dimes?
The hair, no, because I don't ask those questions. That's her little simple joy in life. But I can tell you, yeah, we do have kind of a set budget for groceries every week. Now, what does drive me crazy is her Starbucks budget. I feel like that could be.
So we don't drink Starbucks.
Yeah.
We make coffee at Betrayal Wealth the old-fashioned way. But that's why we need. Yeah, well, I don't have to go home to her, so I'll be happy to call her and tell her that.
Never mind.
But it's important to have an understanding about what our expenses are. I think once we put it down on paper, it changes Because how many times do you not realize how much I spent? We had customers come in last week, and they're a great couple from Newark. And we broke down their income today, what their retirement is going to look like in 2 years. We went over expenses. And both of them said, I can't believe it's this much money. Because you don't think about it. You have a little card in your wallet. Yeah. You just swipe it, or on your phone now, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But you just swipe it, or the subscriptions you have that you don't use. Those little things add up. We have a program we work with where we're going to help you get rid of your debt just by doing what you're doing right now, and break it down so that tomorrow you're in a better place than you are today. It's important, and it's like a Swiss Army knife for you almost. But next week we'll talk about this, because I think it's important for people to understand that you're in debt today. Let's start the process and how we're going to work to get out of this debt, so that when retirement comes, whether you're 25 years old and you have those student loans you're trying to pay off, or you're 55 years old trying to get ready to retire in 5 or 10 years. Let's work together to get you the best retirement possible. But all those things start with you calling us at 302-330-2166 or going to Patria Wealth, Patria Wealth.com to schedule your no-cost, no-obligation meeting.
George, is that like the first conversation that you have is about your budget and how to get people on budget before you really start building and customizing plans?
The first meeting we have, Mark, is really a get-to-know-me session. I want to see if there's something, first off, if you like me and my team, and if we can work with you. Because if you don't like me, folks, it's kind of like when you go to someone's house and they have a dog. Yeah. I think dogs are phenomenal. They're a great judge of people. And if I go to your house and your dog doesn't like me, you shouldn't talk to me. The same thing, if you come to my house and Piper comes around and she's growling at you, there's a reason that she's growling at you. So I want to see if we get along and we're compatible to start working together. And once I put a plan together after our second appointment, and George, it doesn't make sense to me, great. I appreciate the time. Let's see if I can change this, but we work together. This is an ebb and flow, because we need to be a partnership, and not just family members, but a partnership in this relationship.
So it's almost like that initial consultation. Again, no cost, no obligation. It's like a first date, because you're going to have a cup of coffee and get to know each other.
Correct.
And second date is where you really get to work. 302-330-2166. Again, 302-330-2166. Always available at patriawealth.com, Patria Wealth.com. And a reminder to check out the Family First Retirement Podcast. You can find this weekend show and a full archive of shows covering everything about your budget, income, about preserving your assets, taxes, much more with the Family First Retirement Podcast. Again, get more when you visit patriawealth.com. This weekend, a lot of discussions about, building income in retirement. Let's have a quick conversation about annuities. That is one of the most overlooked and oftentimes confusing aspects that adults should be taking advantage of, or maybe just ask more questions about.
Really, it's important, because we have that connotation that they're nasty. From history, you hear that annuity is a terrible thing. But there's really 4 types of annuities, and I always say this is not your father's annuity or your father's Buick. So when we talk about annuities, Mark, there's really 4 annuities to speak about. There's a variable annuity, there's an immediate annuity, there's a deferred annuity, and there's a fixed annuity. A variable annuity can go up or go down in value. It has a lot of fees associated to it as a rule, and it's kind of like being the S&P in the stock market, because you can make money in there, lots of money. You can also lose lots of money. And I don't know if it's necessarily the right thing for people towards retirement. We don't sell variable annuities or work with variable annuities. The next 2 annuities are an immediate and a deferred annuity. They're income riders. And when you hear the word income riders, you have to think of fees and charges. So what these annuities do is they give you a guaranteed dollar amount for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. One is immediate, first 12 months, we turn it on. Deferred is 13 months and beyond. They have a place to be, and sometimes we use them. I'm not a fan of them, but sometimes you need to use those for certain customers, which is fine for certain clients. But the problem I have is, and you've always heard me talk about Alex and Jared, my pride and joy. I have a deferred annuity, and I've turned on the income stream out of this annuity, and it's $500 a month, just whatever the number is. My son comes to me, one of the boys says, Dad, I need a new roof. I need $20,000 today. If I call the annuity company and I'm getting this income stream, and I say, Mr. Annuity Company, instead of $500 this month, I need $22,000 so I can pay for a new roof for my son, Their answer is, I'm really sorry to hear that today, George. Your check for $500 will be there on the 1st. Once you turn on the income stream, you no longer have accessibility and control of your money. I've worked 90,000 hours, right? That's my money. I want to have a little control about this. The one that we work with extensively is a fixed annuity, a fixed indexed annuity. As a rule, there's no fees or charges on them. The worst case scenario, the world goes a heck in a handbag, and I had $200,000. I still have $200,000 tomorrow. I never lose a cent of my money. I get to share in the upside growth of the markets. There's certain limits on what I can make, but I get to share the upside with none of the downside. It's a great opportunity. B, I get to pull the money out as I need it. And that's part of the process we sit through to see when we need income, how much income are we going to need, what bucket are we going to pull that income from, and where are we going to pull it out of the annuity, when are we going to do it. Now, in the same scenario, we're taking $1,000 a month. Alex or Jared comes and says, Dad, I need a new roof. I have a problem at the house. I call the annuity company. I want an additional $25,000 this month. No problem. Here's your money, Mr. Politarhos. Have a good day. It's my money, my control, my choices. And that's what makes them so different. You know, Mark, I have to elaborate, talk about where we're going to pull the money from. When we meet with clients, there's really 3 buckets of money we're going to look at. There is tax deferred, taxable, and tax free. Tax deferred, we put the money in, it grows over time. When we start to pull the money out as an income stream, that's when we pay taxes. Taxable is your assets under management. The money that we work in the markets, we grow, it's taxable income. We're all good to go with that, right? But how about tax-free? Tax-free is a pretty good topic. You know, we can use an annuity or an IUL for that. We can do a Roth IRA for that. We can do some other life insurance policies and information to help us get tax-free income. So we have 3 buckets. We're going to decide which is the most profitable for us to pull from, and then we're going to see how many streams we have off of those buckets. What was that carol the kids' song used to sing about going up? Hole in the bucket, dear John, dear John. But the bucket has holes in it. We got to know which hole we're going to take from and how we're going to make that work for us. So when you call, we're going to go over those and see what the right plan for you is and what annuity fits your wants, needs, and desires. And then with annuities, there's also some additional built-in long-term care on some products that could fit a specific need for a specific customer. And that's what we'll work with you and get that to be what's the right plan for you.
There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza.
There it is.
There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. There's a hole.
Wow, I've never heard that before in my life.
See, I knew I wasn't. I used to sing that to my boys.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.